Quentin Tarantino is widely regarded as one of the most influential and innovative filmmakers in the contemporary film industry. Tarantino's work is characterized by non-linear storytelling, sharp dialogue, electric soundtracks, and a mix of genres, often combining elements of crime, violence, and pop culture references. Tarantino gained widespread recognition with his debut film Reservoir Dogs, which he wrote and directed. The film's sharp dialogue and unconventional approach to storytelling marked Tarantino as a filmmaker with a distinct voice. Tarantino's second film, Pulp Fiction, became a cultural phenomenon. Its blend of crime, humor, and non-linear narrative solidified Tarantino's reputation as a visionary filmmaker. He completed his unofficial crime trilogy with Jackie Brown, and then moved on to the wild Kill Bill duology, before giving us entertaining films like Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, and The Hateful Eight. Though he's made several films, including a credit as a special guest director of Sin City, his most recent film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is billed as Tarantino's ninth film. This is because Tarantino considers Kill Bill as one movie. This is significant because Tarantino has repeatedly stated his desire to retire after making 10 films, which means the next film by Tarantino, which is currently in pre-production, will be the last film by Quentin Tarantino. Sure, he might renegade on that promise, or as he has teased, he might move on to television or film criticism, but a desire to not get burnt out and continue making movies after he's lost his talent, as he claims others have done, Tarantino has expressed a desire to retire instead, before it gets to that stage. Personally, I don't see the point in arbitrarily limiting yourself to 10 films, but it sure will put bums in seats when it's advertised as the final film of Quentin Tarantino. And then in 5 years, we might get the comeback of Quentin Tarantino when he gets an idea that he can't resist. So what's his new movie about? What do we know about it? Tarantino has toyed with the idea of making a whole bunch of different films, from a Star Trek movie, a James Bond movie, a 1930s gangster film, and a Kill Bill spin-off. But his last movie will be none of those. It's actually a film called The Movie Critic. According to reports, it centers on an irreverent critic in 1970s California who reviews mainstream movies for a porno magazine called The Popstar Pages. So it seems Tarantino may be sticking with the world of the birth of New Wave Hollywood and the death of 60s studio-dominated Hollywood from his last movie, with this one centered on an obscure film critic. Apparently, the film critic was actually a real person, so this is a biopic, though of course Tarantino will be making it his own thing. There's potential with this project, and given the way Tarantino started his career in a pretty grassroots way, starting off working in a video store writing scripts, maybe this is the man's most personal project. It might be disappointing for some, especially those who want Tarantino to visit his crime movie roots before bowing out, but it is quite an interesting concept. Sure, what I'm going to say here might sound typically self-indulgent from Tarantino, but he's bought the rights to several obscure films of the 70s, films he loves, with the intention of filming and recreating scenes from these films in his new movie. So we'll be seeing these scenes play out. And if Tarantino really wants to go all out, really wants to do something special, we could potentially see multiple movies within this movie. Maybe the main character goes to a screening, and we watch 10 minutes worth of a horror film directed by either Tarantino himself, or he brings someone along like Robert Rodriguez to film it. Then the next one is an action film, the next is a sci-fi flick, etc, etc. Maybe what I'm saying is more ambitious than what he has planned, but he could actually quench his desire to make a Star Trek film, a period gangster film, and all these things by making short versions of these films. If he's simply recreating scenes from already existing movies, as Paul Schrader has said, well, that's a little duller for me, to be honest. And in these mini-movies, Tarantino could absolutely break the bank and bring in all his regular actors, Harvey Keitel, Samuel L. Jackson, Steve Buscemi. He could try and nab some of the big current-day actors and give roles to some of the greats who haven't made a decent film in a while, something he is known to do. You could pack half of Hollywood in this movie if you wanted to. At the moment, at the time of the making of this video, Brad Pitt is the only actor cast in the movie, reuniting with Tarantino from the duo's previous film. Unless Tarantino has changed his opinion, Pitt won't be in the lead role because he did say the main character would be played by a leading man he hasn't used yet. There's a Deadline article on the film where Tarantino offered some details, and I quote, "One of Tarantino's jobs when he was a teen was loading porn magazines into a vending machine and emptying quarters out of the cash dispenser. He says all the other stuff was too skanky to read, but then there was this porno rag that had a really interesting movie page." The filmmaker did not want to reveal the name of the magazine, but for the movie critic, it'll be called the Pop Star Pages. I ask if the critic in question was known. Tarantino throws his head back. Well, he was known if you read the Pop Star Pages. He explained, he wrote about mainstream movies and he was the second string critic. I think he was a very good critic. He was cynical as hell. His reviews were a cross between early Howard Stern and what Travis Bickle might be if he were a film critic. Sipping his juice, he added, think about Travis's diary entries. But the porno rag critic was very, very funny. He was very rude, you know. He cursed, he used racial slurs, but his shit was really funny. He was rude as hell. Tarantino did research into the reviewer's life. He wrote like he was 55, but he was only in his early to mid-30s. He died in his late 30s. It wasn't clear for a while, but now I've done some more research and I think it was complications due to alcoholism. You know, Pitt played a stuntman in 60s Hollywood in Tarantino's previous film. Given the man's filmography all takes place in the same universe, is it possible Pitt could be playing the same character? In some novelization or something of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Pitt's character actually ends up a film director after his stuntman career. So what do you think of this project? Are you looking forward to Tarantino's new film? What and who do you want to see in it? Let me know in the comments below, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. Before we finish, I'd just like to thank my patrons, Stefan Macfinalis, Alex Vasquez, Chris Starr, Countess von Zarovich, Daniel P, and Nicholas Curtis, and also my channel members, Michael Awatwi, Rikers, Joe Grossberg, The New Ongam 24, Lone Wanderer, Stefan, Q Lade, Pink Pools, Sniff This Rooster, Christian Foss, Ross Miller, and Bloody Corsar.